sitting in what's probably my favorite chair at my dining table in my apartment, and I'm going to read a poem by Lucie brock-broido to you that was originally published in the Paris Review. It's called Periodic Table of Ethereal Elements for Harry Ford. I was not ready for your form to be cold, ever. Even in life, you did not inhabit, necessarily, a form, but a mind of rarer liquid element. It had not occurred to me you would take leave and it will be winter from now on, not only here in the ordinary, but there too in the extraordinary elegance of calcium and finery and loss. Keep me tethered here, breathtakingly awkward and alive. If you had a psyche, it was not known to me. If you had a figure, it would be heavy ivory. If you were a man, you would be an autumn of black carriages filled red with leaves from sycamore, trees not scattering. I was not ready for such onward and unease. Goodbye to the Imperium, the rinsing wind. You, cold as God, and the great glassed castle in which I've lived, simply now a house. A girl ago, a girlhood gone, like a vial of ether thrown on fire, just a little jump of flame, like grief or like a penicillin that has lost its skill at killing off. It then is gone. So I wanted to read this poem to you in part because Lucie is one of my favorite poets, and I think she's one of the great American lyric poets. And I wanted to read it to you because I wouldn't be here in this apartment, at this chair, at this table, if not for Lucie. I wouldn't have the job I have if not for Lucie. And I wanted to read this to you because I never felt like I really got to say goodbye to Lucie. Really, our friendship had just begun when she died. And I felt a way of saying goodbye in this poem, I guess. Also, it's a beautiful poem. But I suppose really my reasons were and are mostly personal. You know, before I got this job, Lucie was kind enough to fly me to her house in Cambridge, and we got to spend a few days just hanging out. It was a really quick trip, and it was, you know, the longest extended time, really the only extended time I got to spend with her. But when I was there at her apartment, you know, she had, you know, shelves of wonderful books, but on one of the shelves were, you know, copies of her books. And she asked if I had all of them. And I said I didn't have the master letters. And so she pulled down a copy for me, which it turns out was, you know, it's a first edition paperback, and she signed it. And one of the things she said, or she wrote in her signature, she wrote, "In the little castle." And this poem has what to me at least is a reference to that castle, the glass castle in which I've lived. And I mean, you know, she might or might not have been thinking of that when she signed the book, but it felt to me at least that if I were to read this poem to you, if I were to read it out loud and you know, have it in some way archived, maybe forever, with that reference to the castle that we were both in briefly together, that would be a way to sort of connect directly to the sort of brief but really bright friendship we got to have. Not as long and not as close as I would have liked, but at least I could acknowledge it. And so thank you for giving me the chance to do that.